Okay, guys, we're still talking about quadratics. Let's see what we remember. What is this called? What are these called? Those are called parabolas. Good. If you need to write those down somewhere, you don't really necessarily need to because we've already talked about it. What were these 2 points called? Those are called your vertexes. Okay, what V-E-R-T-E-X. Vertex is basically the highest point or the lowest point. It's basically the point where like you change directions, okay? If you get to the vertex, it's kind of like going up a mountain. As soon as you get up to the top of the mountain, there's nowhere to go but down, okay? Or the Olympics are in right now. What is it? Snowboarding or, the snowboard half pipe. I love watching half pipe. You ever watch this? Watch half pipe? I love that, okay? I mean, they go, they hit, they go down, then they go right back up, okay? I love it. Let's see. What is this called? What was that? Axis of symmetry. What is the axis of symmetry? It's always what? What letter is always axis of symmetry? X, because I mean it kind of makes sense. Axis has an X in it, okay? That's clearly the letter that sticks out. All right, we're going to talk about a few things. So what we did the other day was we just labeled. Let's back up a little bit. I know that it's Monday morning. Let's back up. I know that what we did was we labeled our parts. We talked about the axis of symmetry. We had you find the y-intercept. We had you find all that information, okay? So today we're going to start talking about equations. Now, if you guys remember, you might want to put this at the top of your paper. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That is your quadratic equation. That is your quadratic equation. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get what's called a factored form of an equation. Okay, your factored form of an equation, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take this equation and we're going to split it into two different parentheses. Now, we haven't multiplied polynomials yet. We're going to get to that later, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple of polynomials, and it's actually very, very simple. If you'll follow along with me today, it's not that bad. It looks a whole lot worse than it really is. I promise. Okay, here we go. Let's just jump into it. I hope. Turn it on. Clicker. Boom, here we go. For each graph of the y or the functions below, label the vertex and draw in the axis of symmetry. Then we're going to identify the x-intercepts, write the equation for the axis of symmetry, and we're going to identify the vertex. All right, so basically, what did it say? For each graph, label the vertex and then draw the axis of symmetry. So what is my vertex here, guys? What is it? Would it be that point right there? What is that point?
1, -1, -4.
Nope. No. Here's 0, 0. So what would that be? -4 what? -4, -1. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. -4, -1. And I'm going to go ahead and put it down here. -4, -1. Now, so what's my axis of symmetry going to be? Not -4. X equals -4. Please remember that, okay? X equals -4. So there it is. X equals -4. That's my axis of symmetry. Okay. So here we go. They actually gave you the equation on this one. They actually gave you the equation. This is the graph for this equation. Okay, so let's take a look at things. All right, my x-intercepts. What are my two x-intercepts, guys? Right here and right here. What are those two numbers? -5 and -3. Okay, so let's take a peek at this for just a minute. One of the things I want to show you. Thank you. One of the things I want to show you, and one of the things I really want to make it a point of, okay? Your axis of symmetry will always be the midpoint between your two x-intercepts, okay? Always. Because think about it. What are my two x-intercepts? Look at your paper. You have -5 and what? -3. Where's the axis of symmetry? Right in the middle, -4. Okay, it's always going to be your midpoint. Because what does the axis of symmetry do? It basically cuts your parabola in what? It's going to cut it in half. So it kind of makes sense for it to be the same distance on both sides. Okay, I see a lot of people nodding. That makes sense, right? So if you can't find the axis of symmetry, you can find it if you know where 2 points are at. Okay, and you can actually look, if you know what the axis of symmetry is and you know what one of the x-intercepts is, you can actually, if it's 5 spaces this way, where would the other one be? 5 this direction. You can actually find both x-intercepts. If you know one of them, You can find the other one just by knowing what the x-intercept is. Or by, not the x-intercept, by knowing what the axis of symmetry is, which I guess is the same thing. If you know the axis of symmetry and you know one of the roots or one of the solutions, you should be able to find the other one. If this is the axis of symmetry, if you go 2 steps this way or 2 spots this way, wouldn't it make sense to go 2 spots this way also? Okay, I see people nodding like you're kind of following along. All right, here we go. Let's do the second one. X minus 2, x minus 6. Let's start with let's just go straight down. What are my x-intercepts? Positive 2 and positive what? So we have positive 2 and positive 6. Okay? If you look at them, you might be able to kind of see a pattern here. You see people nodding, okay? What's my axis of symmetry? Yeah, x equals what? X equals positive 4. So x equals 4. So that's this one. And what is my vertex? 4 what? 4 negative 4. Is everybody good so far? Okay. Now we're not quite into factored form. Right now we're still identifying stuff, okay? But we're going to get there here in just a second, okay? All right. Good? All right, you guys have your paper. Yes? You have your paper. I'm going to switch over to another slide, okay? So you need to have this information to answer number 2. Here we go. Number 2, compare the location of the x-intercepts to the location of the axis of symmetry on each one of the graphs listed above, okay? So we're comparing the x-intercepts to the axis of symmetry. I've already said it. What do you notice about the location of the axis of symmetry? What do you notice about it? It's always where? If I have 2 points, my x-intercept and my x-intercept, where is the axis of symmetry always going to be? In the middle. Okay, so write this down. I'm going to abbreviate it. Axis of symmetry is always in the middle of both, let's just call it roots. Remember, it could be roots, it could be solutions, it could be zeros, it could be all kinds of words, okay? Let's just call it roots for this one. Okay, it's always in the middle of both of the roots. Makes sense? You have this one, it's always going to be in the middle. All right, here we go. For each function in number 1, compare the x-intercepts to the equation. Okay? Compare your x-intercepts. Take a look at them. Compare the x-intercepts that I gave you to the equations that you had, okay? Here are the equations. I'm backing up. We got positive 3 and positive 5, yes? But where are my x-intercepts? Negative 3 and negative 5, yes? What about this one? Positive 2, positive 6, but we have negative 2, negative 6. So what do you notice? They're opposites. So here we go. So compare the x-intercepts. What do you notice? The roots are opposite from the equation. The roots are opposite from the equation. So if you can find the roots, you can actually write the equation. Okay, it's the opposite signs. Opposite signs. All right, so here's what I want you to do on number 4. Compare the axis of symmetry to the x-coordinate of the vertex. Okay, everybody go look at your vertex. Go look at your vertex on the first ones, the first 2. Now compare your vertex to the axis of symmetry. What did you notice? What matches? The x's are what? The x's are the same. We've already talked about this. We're just kind of rehashing it. Okay, the x's are the same. Go ahead and write that down. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to jump down to the next one. Okay, using your observation for number 2, 3, and 4, we're going to identify the x-intercepts without a graph. Without a graph. Now we're doing it without a graph. Okay, without actually seeing them. Yes? Very, very simple. All right, here we go. What are my 2 numbers on the equation for this one? We have x what? Somebody read it to me. X plus 4, x plus 8. So we have a positive 4 and a positive 8. Agreed? So what would that be? So my x-intercepts are going to be -4 and -8. -4 and -8. Okay, so now here's the tricky part. Here's the tricky part. Find me the axis of symmetry. This one's a little bit easier. How do you find the axis of symmetry? It's in where? It's in the middle. Good. I'm glad you guys are catching on with that. So if I have -4, what is it? -4, and I go a little bit further, I got -8. What's halfway in the middle? -6 is going to be my number. So my axis of symmetry is x equals -6, which means my x number for my vertex is going to be -6. I don't know the y. I do not know how low it goes. Okay, that's where we would need to do some other math. Everybody good? Okay, go ahead and do the second one. Let's see if you can find it. By the way, yeah, this one's going to be a little bit harder because you got a negative and a positive. If you need to, draw a line like -2 or +2 all the way down to 12 and just find the middle number. I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. What are my two x-intercepts? -2 and +12. Did anybody find the axis of symmetry? It is 7. It is 7. Good. And when you're first learning how to do this, can I just do this? Watch. Can I just go -2, -1, 0, all the way up to 12? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know this is kind of stupid, but just work with me here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Now, if I know that my axis of symmetry is here and here, what I can start doing is crossing them off on one on each side. Yes? Watch. I cross there, 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 there. Well, should be where? Should be 5. I guess 7 was wrong. Should be 5. I do it wrong? Is that right? How many spots do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be 5. Should be 5. Sorry, it's 5. 5 and 5. Good. I like that we checked it. The key that I have is actually incorrect. I'm glad we found that mistake. Good. All right, let's move on. Second one, go. Anybody know? Everybody good on that? Good. Finding the middle point. Go to the next one. What are my two x-intercepts? 4 and +4, +1. My axis of symmetry is going to be what? 2.5. 2.5. Okay, that's in the middle. Is it okay to have a decimal? Is it okay to have a decimal? Yes, absolutely. That's fine. 2.5. Everybody good? Do I need to draw that, or is everybody good? Everybody's fine? I want to make sure if there's one person that needs to see it, I will draw it for you. Everybody's okay. All right, here we go. Using your observation number 2, 3, and 4 to identify the x-intercept of the vertex. Then substitute that value in. So here we go. Here's how we're actually going to find it. Okay, here's how we find the y. You guys with me on this? Here we go. We're going to substitute it in. Go. So do me a favor. Go x-intercept, go y-intercept. Go. I'm going to show you how to do this. This is not overly complex. What are my two x-intercepts? +2 and +8, yes? What number is halfway between 2 and 8? Is it 5? Do I need to draw it to be sure? Is everybody good? 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. 5 is in the middle. Okay, that's how I always did. I just wrote the numbers and just crossed them off as I went. All right. So my vertex is 5. Does anybody have a clue on how I might figure out the y? Yes, sir. Go ahead. Let's see. Absolutely. Hold on. What does f of x mean, guys? We've talked about this. What is that the same thing as? Isn't that y? So if I have an x here and an x here, what did you just tell me the axis of symmetry was? 5. What is 5 minus 3? So, or I'm sorry, 5 minus 2 is 3, right? You guys with me? Let's do the other one. What is 5 minus 8? What's 5 minus 8? Negative 3. What is 3 times negative 3? Negative 9. There's my answer. There's my y. Everybody good? It should work because if that is the equation and that's my axis of symmetry. Remember we talked about it when it was linear? Why are the solutions the solutions? Because every single one of those points that come out to be true are on the line. If it works, it should be fine. So if that point, if that is my vertex, shouldn't it be on the line of the equation? Shouldn't it work in x and y? Yes, that's why the graph looks like the graph. It should always work, okay? All you have to do, find the x, plug it in, and that will tell you how to solve for y, okay? All right, do the second one. Go. What are my x-intercepts? -1 and +7. So I'm just going to go -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the way I always did it. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. What do I have? 3. Good. So 3 is my answer. I just plug it in. And you're like, okay, this is actually kind of simple. It looks worse than it really is. It looks a whole lot worse than it really is, guys. What is 3 plus 1? 4. What is 3 minus 7? 3 minus 7? -4. What's 4 times -4? -16. There's my vertex. All right, I'm going to pause it. I want you guys to do this next one. Ready? Go. Pausing the video. All right, what are my x-intercepts? -3 and -6. So what is my axis of symmetry? -4.5. Is that what everybody got? Want to make sure. -3, or -6, -5, -4, -3. 1, 1. Yep, -4.5. Good. All right, so if -4.5, let me give you a little I was just talking about it while we were paused. If you know the equation, right, I can actually use my calculator and just type it just like that, but instead of saying x, I'm just going to put a -4.5. So you can go -4.5 plus 3, and then close your parentheses and go -4.5 plus 6, and you hit enter, it will give you the answer because it's going to multiply it for you. Yes? What'd you get? Just 2? -2.25. -2.25. And once you have all that, you can actually make the graph. Because now you've got the vertex, you've got the 2 points, you can actually make your parabola. Okay, the only thing we're missing is the y-intercept, which I'll show you that later, okay, in another day. Okay, everybody good? All right, we go. Number 7. Identify the x-intercepts and the vertex of the functions below. Now we're going to sketch the graph. I'm going to show you a little trick here in just a second. Ready? Go. I want you to do the first one. Actually, I'll do it with you. What are my 2 x-intercepts, guys? 2 and -2. Good. Which means my axis of symmetry should be what? My axis of symmetry should be 0. Okay? 0 what? Okay, so if we know what x is, what is y? So what is 0 minus 2? What's 0 minus 2? Negative 2. What is 0 plus 2? What is 2 times negative 2? Negative 4. Right? So now I'm going to plot it. My vertex is 0, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go down 4. What are my two x-intercepts? Positive 2 and what? Positive 2 and negative 2. So now I can just... That looks more like a V, but you get the point. Sorry, I didn't make a very good curve. It works. Here in a second, I'm going to give you one more hint. All right, try the second one. Ready, go. X-intercepts, go. Negative 1 and positive 3. Okay, so what's my axis of symmetry going to be? Positive 1. It's going to be positive 1. That's going to be my halfway point, correct? All right, so here we go. So if x is 1, what's y? So what's 1 plus 1? 2. What's 1 minus 3? Negative 2. Okay, so what's 2 times negative 2? Negative 4. So there's my vertex. 1, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my x-intercepts are negative 1 and positive 3, correct? And if you guys look, it should look symmetrical. If it looks, it should look like everything kind of matches up, like the same distance, correct? Does it look right, Jackson? Okay. I mean, it looks okay to me. Everybody all right? It looks like it's probably going to work. Okay, so now here's another question for you. I'm kind of getting ahead of you a little bit, but let me show you just a little trick, okay? To find the x or to find the y-intercepts, okay? To find the y-intercept, can I show you something just really fast? If you'll just multiply, when you don't have a number on the front, this is what's 1 times negative 3? Multiply those two numbers together? Negative 3. There's going to be my y-intercept. It's kind of a little trick, okay? So that kind of tells you my graph should look like this. Good? Just a little hint. Because when you multiply these polynomials together, that's actually going to be the number on the very end, which is my c, which we learned the other day. My c is what? The y-intercept. Okay, so kind of just a little hint. All right, do the last one on your own. We'll see if we get it right. Go. All right, here we go. You should have gotten positive 4 and negative 2, which means did you guys get it? Is it 1? Is that right? I'm just doing this, just kind of looking at it. I didn't know if I was right. Okay, so I'm just going to put the 1 right here. 1 minus 4, that's negative 3. 1 plus 2, that's positive 3. So I'll multiply that together, I get negative 9. So 1, negative 9. So what you got? So if I draw my graph, positive 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 2. My vertex is 1, negative 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look about right. And just for the heck of it, what's negative 4 times positive 2? Negative 8. So that should be my y-intercept. Okay. So my graph should look a little bit like, let's see if I can do this. Is that what you got? That look correct? Okay, so here's your equation. Write this down somewhere. Y equals, this is vertex form. I don't even know if my letters are going to be right, but just work with me on this, okay? It's going to be x minus root 1, x minus root 2. Okay, your roots are going to go on the front, okay, or in the middle. Now, why did I put minus root 1 minus root 2? What did the signs always do? They flipped, okay? It's kind of like when we did point slope form earlier, not slope intercept, y equals mx plus b. That was easy. But do you guys remember doing y minus y1? And then we did x minus x1. And remember, you guys had a problem with that because the signs switched. When you have minus in an equation, the signs flip. That's what the minus sign does. Okay, minus always does what in an equation? Flips it. So the parentheses are always going to be backwards. Okay, the parentheses are going to be backwards. Fair? Okay, the next thing we're going to get into after today, next thing we're going to get into is vertex form. Okay, so we're going to figure out all that stuff. This is factored form. Factored form, okay? We're just worried about the roots. That's all. Everybody good? 1 to 5, how do we feel? I saw a thumb. Is that a 1 or is that good? Okay. Everybody's good? I see some good numbers. Okay. You guys are good. You guys can take a break.